Hapless teenagers beset by demons in the woods. A strange new drug that turns art into murder. A can't beat a deal on a new house with a horrifying past. A video game that might usher in the apocalypse. From the demented mind of Sean C. Baker, author of A Collection of Desires, Shadow Play, and Murder Virus, comes Volume 4, collecting Baker's no-sleep work along with several never-before-published short stories. This 99-cent volume also includes the opening chapter of the author's forthcoming teenage giallo novel, Black Gloves and Broken Hearts, due out later this year.
Hello, welcome to another episode of the Horror Vision. My name is Sean.
And I am the astonishing Anthony.
And I'm Missy.
And might I say you are indeed astonishing, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Tonight on a very special episode of the Horror Vision, we're going to talk about Terrifier 3, because we all just fucking saw it. And we're going to be spoiler free, but I mean, really,
you can't really spoil anything.
You can't really spoil it. You know what I mean? So I don't know if we're gonna go spoilers. I'll tell you. But were you guys theaters full?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I know Missy, you had a guy dressed like Art there. Did you have anyone in costume, Anthony?
I had children there dressed in costume.
Yeah, we had a few arts.
Yeah, there were like at least 3 or 4 arts.
When I walked up to the ticket taker, there was a gentleman in the full art, not the mask. He had it, but he didn't have it on. And his daughter, who had to be like 7 or 8, was dressed as the little demon, kid from the second one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, you guys rule. Like, go in and sit. They came in and sat next to me. I was like, oh wow.
That's a bit much for 7.
Yeah, I gotta say, man. He's like, oh, she's hardcore. I'm like, I fucking hope so, man, because that fucking movie, holy shit.
It was interesting. Yeah, it was interesting because after the showing, like the parents like got the kids together and people were like taking photos with the little kids, like the moviegoers were like going up and like kneeling down and taking pictures with all the kids. Weird fucking family fun experience. It's fucking bizarre, dude.
Man, Anthony, what did you think of this movie?
I really enjoyed myself. I think Leon really sharpened his skills on this one. I think the direction is a lot better. Story's a lot more focused. It doesn't kind of... He throws enough at you to keep it from meandering into areas where like it dulls. Like there's a lot of pacing issues with the second film.
Yeah,
I think this one, like at its runtime, like it's very, very focused. And I did appreciate that about it. I mean, it is gore vignette after gore vignette after gore vignette, which is, again, you know what you're getting with this kind of film. I do like how they're able to expand the lore a bit. They push the story along really well. Character development's better and a lot more well-rounded this time. Yeah, they explored some new facets, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. It's a strong recommend for me for sure, definitely. I really had a good time with it, genuinely.
You gonna go back with Cody and see it like this weekend?
Yeah, I'm gonna dress him up. Actually, no, come on.
I'm kidding. I know you would. I know. I'm not making judgment on other people. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know that I should be seeing this, let alone a child. But
I was
Right.
saying the same thing on the drive home with my buddy. I was telling him about what was going on there with the kids, and I was like, I would never take my son to see this. I go, but then I think back to, movie nights with my dad renting Friday the 13th and Faces of Death. So, I mean, what's the difference?
well, this is different than Friday the 13th for sure.
For
I mean,
sure.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
like really, I feel like today's generation are going to look at Freddy and be like, "Are you fucking kidding me? Is that Big Bird?" Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's night and day. Missy, what'd you think of Terrifier 3?
I had a real good time with it. My only complaint about it is I think they're too long. I like the movies, but I I don't think a slasher movie, and I love slasher movies, but I don't think they need to be longer than 90, 100 minutes. I think it would benefit from being snappier, but otherwise it's a good time. The practical effects are great. Like if if you love those kind of effects, go see it. It's gory as hell. You're gonna have a good time with it. It has a bunch of cool deaths. I love the final girl that they introduced in the second movie that we get more of in
Yeah.
this one. So I am very happy that they are advancing that story. I like that we got more of the lore. I like that they are solidifying that he's a it that it's he's a supernatural kind of slasher.
Yeah.
So they they can kill him off and bring him back as many times as they want. But they gave us a reason, so it doesn't feel stupid.
There was like a little bit like there's like something said in it that like kind of explains it, and it's theoretical, but I thought that was
Right.
really cool. Um yeah, I agree. Although I think these have now, I don't think they're slasher movies. I don't know exactly what they are. They definitely have a lot of elements of slasher movies, but that's the thing about the second one. I still don't give a shit about the first one, but the second one, I get it's like you get this glimpse of like some really grand design, and Damien Leone knows how to just dole out the littlest bit. So because they talk about the father, the two
Mhm.
kids, Sienna and I forget the brother's name's father in the second one, and in this one
Mhm.
you actually see him,
Right.
and there's a short scene, and I just and it kind of leaves you like the way it ends. You're like, huh? Because I think there'll be more. Um, so I think he's stumbled on this way, and you see it in the editing where every scene that advances Sienna trying to acclimate to normalcy again is always intercut with art somewhere. So like the scene at the bar with the Santa Claus, which is Daniel Roebuck. There were so many names in the credits. I was like, oh my
Oh
God,
yeah.
like Clint Howard, Daniel Roebuck,
Chris Jericho,
Tom
Chris Sherry,
Savini,
Thompson. Well,
Tom
he was
Savini.
obvious, right?
yeah, of
That was
Right.
course.
great.
Who doesn't wash his hands?
Jason Patrick is the father.
That was, it kind of blew me away, but definitely like there, with the bar. So it's like her at home or at her new home, and then this developing situation at the bar with Art and
Well, and he's so expressive. The actor is fantastic. I forget his name because I
David
always
Howard
do, but
Thornton.
David Allen Greer.
Yes, David Allen Greer plays a mean clown.
but he's
Ugh.
so expressive, right? That everybody just latch onto this Art the Clown character, and he's funny. He's funny to watch
He's
because
pretty
he's making
fucking
all these
funny.
faces, and I mean the whole thing at the bar with the Santa Claus was hysterical.
And here's another thing. Tell me that this isn't. I feel like it's kind of a novel idea. Maybe I'm wrong, but for like a supernatural kind of slasher thing, I know I'm saying it's kind of is like bigger than just being a slasher, but essentially Art is that. But the movie has a grander design. I feel like, or the series than just being a slasher franchise. But maybe not. Maybe I'm inventing that. But he does things that really feel visceral, not just like all the gore and the chopping and the cutting and the maiming but like at one point he pulls a gun and just shoots somebody, and it's so stark, like holy fuck, man. Slashers
See,
don't
I
generally
hate the
do that.
gun. The
Oh, I
gun
thought it was
thing,
awesome.
it
I thought
pissed
it
me
was
off in part two, And it bothered me here. That was the
I
other
think
thing
it.
I don't like.
I think it's amazing, and there's another
Really?
scene with an explosion in a public place, and
Yes.
they are 100% bringing in the modern fears that we have because it makes
Hmm.
sense. Like it's that much more frightening that he'll just use whatever the fuck is at hand to kill somebody. He doesn't give a shit. You know what I mean?
That
Like I love that.
that scene you're talking about, I laughed out loud because
Oh,
I
me
called
too.
it. Because I
Me
Me
called
too.
it.
too.
I was like,
Yeah,
I
same.
think I know it's coming. And when it
Yep.
happened, I fucking lost my mind. And then I look around and I'm the only one laughing. And I'm like, oh, okay. Fucking fuck
Yeah,
you.
there were quite a few times where
Yeah.
like me and our friend Chris were the only people laughing, and it's like, really, you people are dressed up like Art the Clown.
A
Yeah,
How
couple
was
are
it?
people
we
Yeah.
the
left.
only ones laughing?
Wait, did you say people left?
A couple people left.
No, no,
Ah,
no, nobody that I noticed, but we were close. So I mean, they could have been walking behind me, and I
Yeah.
didn't
But
notice. I
in
didn't
my
see
theater,
anyone
yeah.
leave.
In my theater, I think there were three couples that got up and left.
Really?
And yeah, I think they were just in over their heads. They had no idea what they were up against tonight. And I mean,
Right.
it's interesting too because I got my ticket for this a couple of weeks ago, and then even up to today, there were still seats available. And then when I got in there, it was packed. And then
yeah.
by the time the credits were done, even the front rows in front of the screens were gone. And I was like, wow, okay, let's go. And no, I think the audience got their money's worth tonight. I think it's the cult following that's you know ever present now that loves these movies. They showed up tonight, and I was really happy to be a part of that. I was glad that the
Yeah.
community was able to come out and have this new thing to celebrate, and everybody had a good time. There was a fucking There was everybody clapped at the end of the film.
That's
Like
awesome.
everybody had an awesome time.
I
So
think you had a
That's
better crowd than we did, but
everybody had a fucking rad time, with the exception of the six dickheads that got up and left. But
not for
whatever.
them.
Yeah,
More for us.
bingo.
do you guys feel like I feel like these are the only movies that the two, seeing 2 and 3 now on the big screen. These are the only movies I know of that make me feel like I did when I was a kid watching horror movies, where there's a sense of like trepidation that follows me up to go, like mounting over the days before and then through to the theater and sitting down and then scene by scene. I never know what I'm going to see and if it's going to like somehow scar me. And it's a really cool, it's what I really like about these movies. I mean, there's and because of that, and in just I feel like the direction and the all of the everything about them is so immersive. I mean, just I don't remember the last time I was this immersed. Well, actually, that's not true. Blade Runner 2049. For whatever reason, I was so immersed in that movie, it was insane. But like I don't know. Am I wrong? Do you feel like that I don't know, that kind of rekindling of that thing when you were a kid?
I do, but not the same way. For me, it's very, very linked to like the effects and how they do them.
Hmm.
Um, I was always fascinated with how they made monsters, how they did these things, and seeing all of these heavy practical effects on the big screen, I find myself doing that. Oh, how'd they do that? Oh, that looks
Hmm.
really cool. How'd they do that? And it brings out my inner 12-year-old.
That's cool. Anthony?
There's a total nostalgic feel to it when I go watch movies like this. Especially this one tonight. Even down to the grain on the film.
Yeah.
It's trying to
Hmm.
date it, and make it akin to an era that we all grew up and love. And yeah, like you said, as far as it being immersive, yeah, it's totally fucking engaging that way. It draws you in and brings you back to the over the top cartoonish violence from a majority of those films that we loved growing up. And again, the violence in these films they're ultra violent, but like I've said before, and I'll reiterate again, it's so over the top. It's cartoonish and comical. And
Hmm.
I mean, it's almost not bleak, and you're waiting for it. And again, with the runtime on this movie, because it's 2 hours and 4 minutes,
Yeah.
and every time there's a small lull within the next couple of minutes, or as soon as art pops on screen, some shit's gonna go
Right.
down, and that happens enough to where you don't have to worry about having a snooze fest or anything like that. It doesn't happen. But yeah,
No.
back to what I was saying, it totally takes me back to a time when I would watch these movies and um just it reminds me of when I was a kid. I could totally see myself with, a fucking pizza and my brother sitting next to me,
Right.
cross-legged in front of the fucking boob tube when we were fucking 5 and 6. And that's not I was watching bad shit back then. But yeah, no, I totally fucking love that factor about these films. And I'm glad that it was so much more improved upon with this one. The second one, like I said, it was kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
The ideas that he was running with kind of didn't flesh out well, but I did like that, like you said, they were breadcrumbed, and I
Yeah.
think that it all you know uh came full circle in this one. I thought it was a fucking excellent movie.
It,
um
yeah. You saw the budget this time too, right? Like there, I felt like there was a huge difference. And I know I read an interview with the cinematographer, George Stuber, that said like I actually had like Panaflex lenses. Like I could, like he's like I never, oh my God. And you could see it. I felt like you could really fucking see it. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut in
no,
on
no,
you. I
no,
just,
you're good.
No,
but like Maniac is a movie I saw much later in life, or Nightmare, like much, much, much later. And those were movies I knew about as a kid, and they scared me, right? And like this, I mean, I feel like this is, I don't know, man, I don't know. I really feel like Damon Leone is like going to be a force to be fucking reckoned with. And David Howard Thornton, um, like I saw a thing today where he's like just come up, he's like, I want to play the Joker. So I feel like I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, why not? I mean, so and then it got me thinking of like, we're gonna do the Robert Englund trajectory where, you know, after a couple movies, somebody will give him a chance to direct, and he'll make his movie the way Englund made 976 Evil, which people will
Yeah,
talk shit about, but I fucking watch every year and I love. I mean, I don't know. Like this is just the tip of an iceberg, I think.
I do feel that Leone is kind of like in a league of his own. There's nobody else that's doing stuff like this on this level.
No.
He really is kind of out there, and that's the thing. He's got no competition right now, so I don't know if this is going to be something that like stirs up, newer filmmakers to make more sleazier, trashy cinema. But yeah, I mean, there's not enough of this going on,
Yeah.
and I'm glad that at least there's an outlet for it somewhere. Um, uh, we'll see what happens with his next film. I kind of like to see him get away from it. I do want to see what he does with another original script.
Yeah.
Um, I would like to see him kind of cut loose, but I feel like right now he's kind of in this box, and they're only going to give him money for what people want at the moment. And so
Yeah.
I hope he
right.
doesn't get carpentered. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
So
already been greenlit for a Terrifier 4.
Oh
yeah, of
yeah,
course,
yeah.
yeah,
I'm sure they've greenlit the next 10. You know what I mean?
right.
Like, and this is like, if it makes money, they'll do it. And so, we had a decade or more of Saw.
Right. They'll start cranking these out every year or two as long as they're making money.
I felt like Adam Green did something similar, and then his budgets got smaller and smaller, and he still made it efficient. You know what I mean? He was still able to efficiently
Hmm.
make a Hatchet film. So, yeah,
That's what I was going to say. The only thing closest to it is probably the Hatchet movies,
yeah.
Yeah,
but they don't have the cult following that Art does. Although I probably like the Hatchet movies a little bit better myself. But
I liked 1 and 3. 3 I thought made up for how bad the second one was. That's just my opinion. But I also feel the same way about Terrifier. I think this film more than makes up for the last movie. And again, I'm just glad to have a more focused vision instead of like a 2.5 hour what the fuck is going on. You know what I mean? So
yeah, that second one, that dream sequence, man, that just
yeah, I was rewatching the second one earlier today, and it's great. I love that one, but that dream sequence is like 10 minutes long and it irritates the crap out of me, and it
but
just needs to
it's
go.
weird because it's
too
become
long.
just as iconic as like the Cheddar Goblin sequence. You know what I mean? It's just one of
But
those
the
things
Cheddar
that a lot of people
Goblin doesn't.
gravitate to.
But the
it's
Cheddar
so
Goblin
weird.
only lasted for like a minute.
Exactly.
Well,
That
all
stupid
things,
clown cafe takes forever.
yeah, it does. Oh my God. I don't know. All things considered, I really enjoyed this. I would anybody that liked if you like the first and or the second one, again, I don't care for the first one very much, but the second one it has its flaws, but that was the first one where
Right.
I'm like, okay, I'm kind of on board. I want to see where this is going. Like the whole movie was kind of a gotta see for the next movie. And that really is, something. And they're simple. It's not like it's some Christopher Nolan like, oh my God, I gotta know what's
Right.
going on. This is so mind-bending. No, it's just I don't know. His mythology is simple, but I think it's gonna work. And I
And he's talented. They're well-made movies.
they're really well
Like
made.
the
This
effects are
one,
good. The
yeah.
sound was great.
Oh, the
The
sound
sound in
design is
this
as good
movie
as the
was
practical effects, in my opinion.
yeah, like
Sound
everything had
design,
a cool sound.
the score, the composer is, I believe, I think it's Phil Wiley. Not familiar with him other than that. Paul Wiley, sorry. Really, really awesome score. And even like they use this song by Dream Kid, who's this like, I don't know much about them. Ray turned me on them like a year or two ago, and it's very 80s synthwave kind of thing, but like so overdone. It kind of kills it, but the song is I
Okay.
listened to it 3 times on the drive home. It's called Chrissy. Oh my God. It just worked so well with the movie. It was just absolutely astonishing. He
Is
just
it like the Sienna theme? That
I don't
because
I
there's
don't
like
know.
a synthy theme that seems to go around along with her.
They they played it over the end credits and they played it at another point in the movie, and I don't remember what it was.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah. I
but
missed the
yeah,
Boy Harsher. I was hoping for a little more like harder edge something.
yeah, dude. Second one, when I heard Boy Harsher in the second one, honestly, that was probably the thing that really turned my dial into like, okay, like you can do that, and you could throw in a band that I love, especially one that where I'm like, oh, dude, you just gave them a level up, and like I'm kind of on your team now, like like okay, but I don't know, just overall, it really, really immersive. I really enjoyed it, and I think if hey, if you can't stomach it, you can always walk out, but then you're gonna get people that are gonna be fucking saying, what the fuck? Um, but I don't know, it's worth seeing in the theater in my opinion. It's great. The sound is just fucking outstanding. It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so that chainsaw is the loudest I just saw a Texas Chainsaw 50th anniversary last week, right? The chainsaw in this movie is so much louder than even the remastered Texas Chain. It is just fucking through the roof.
Well, even the
Oh,
shower itself is super fucking loud. It's almost deafening. And I was like, who the
yeah,
fuck takes a shower that
yeah,
loud?
Well, everything was though, because you could hear. There's a scene where he kills somebody in another room, and you can hear all the blood and the
yeah.
squelching and
Oh,
everything,
Yeah.
the
and you don't
opening,
see anything. Right? You don't
the
see anything
opening.
yet, but you see it all in your head because you hear all of it.
I'm
Oh my
curious whether or
God.
not this was a final cut or not. I would be I would kind of like to see if there was a little more that he had up front, that went to the chopping, to the cutting room floor. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll just squeeze another half hour of fucking guts into this. It'll work.
Man. Well, that's Terrifier 3. So
Yeah.
go see it. I think we're all unanimous.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So this is Horror Vision. I'm Sean.
I'm Anthony the Albino.
And I'm Missy.